I'm not going to lie. There's no player recently in women's college ball that I've been more impressed with than Lucy Olsen. Like, I am extremely high on her game. And yeah, she's been a good playmaker. I'll admit that. She has genuinely been a good playmaker throughout the regular season. But what she's been doing recently, since that USC game, there's not been five better players in the country. And I mean that. Has not been five better players in the country. And she is showing she can be well and truly a point guard, an off the ball player. If she falls past the second round, like, there are teams that are going to regret it because she's going to make a roster. And I will stand by that. Lucy Olsen is going to make a roster next season. If you've been watching Iowa play, it's literally like as good as Stokey is, as good as these other players are, like it's Lucy Olsen. That is their team. Lucy Olsen is literally their team right now. And if things aren't going through Lucy Olsen, things just don't happen for this team. And I'm going to show you guys here the stats that Lucy Olsen been putting up recently. So as you can see, obviously, she's got averaging 18.2 points and 5 assists per game. And you might be thinking, oh, that's not the craziest number in the world. But let's just take a look at what her points have been since. Obviously, when they lost 5 games in a row, Lucy Olsen was not great. And I think it's okay to admit that like sometimes players don't always play their best every single game. And that's fine. So with Lucy Olsen, in those games, she was poor. Like, she had a 4-point game where she couldn't hit a free throw. Was that the one where she couldn't hit a free throw? No, sorry. They lost in overtime to Nebraska where she couldn't hit a free throw. And then she's barely missed a free throw since bit of a weird free throw shooter. Sometimes it's like you're confident she'll never miss. And in other times you're like, oh, is she going to hit one? Because in fairness, last night's game, it was like, you just knew she was going to make every single free throw that she shot. But the thing is with Lucy Olsen is, let's take a look after the USC game. 28, 4 assists. Then she goes and has 14 and 7 in a win against Minnesota, in a close one. Then has 32 and 7 assists. 27, only 3 assists. 27 and 7 in a loss against Ohio State. She was not great, I'll give her that, in the game against UCLA, but that was the weird game of basketball. No one was great in that game. Michigan, she had 20 and 3. She had 2 assists against Wisconsin. And last night, she goes and has 21 points, 9 assists on 12 shots. And the amount of time she was being fouled. And this is a team that are a good defensive team, putting a good full court press on her. It was a team legitimately putting a more than solid full court press on Lucy Olsen. And Lucy Olsen dealt with that. And there are players on Iowa, like, I don't know. For me, the jury's still out a little bit on Hannah Stokey. I like some things that Hannah Stokey does on the floor. Not the biggest fan of other things Hannah Stokey does, but at the same time, look, it's when it comes to Stokey, it's I don't know. She is freakishly athletic. She runs the floor extremely hard. But for me anyway, I just find with her, she's a little bit undersized. She doesn't spread the floor that well, and yeah, it can always be a tough one with those archetypes of players. But with Lucy Olsen, I think she is a pro. A Fulter, I think, is just gonna, if she wants to be, she can just be a glue guy. She can be a glue player, and like, she can genuinely be good at that role. But Lucy Olsen, her ability to play the 1, the 2, and you might be saying, oh, if she gets like pressed to the WNBA level, she's getting full court pressed in college, and she's living with it. Like, I'm not sure, I don't know how she'll get on against like a Dejanay Carrington, but I do think she has that capability of being a secondary ball handler. She's an elite mid-range shooter. She's an improving 3-point shooter. Her 3-point shooting's gone way up. It's gone way up since the start of the year. And it's just how she's controlling the game. Like, she is fully controlling every single part of the game. Like, that is what Lucy Olsen's doing. She's controlling the tempo. She's controlling the offense. A lot of Iowa's stuff, they're kind of running like a bit of more of a motion offense. And she's basically, if they do a lot of off-ball stuff, she cuts really well off the ball. And with 5 seconds to go in the shot clock, the ball goes in Lucy Olsen's hands. And a lot of the time, she makes something good happen, whether it be a mid-range shot, whether it be a drive or kick. And whether that be driving in, dumping it down, which she did a couple of times to Ava Hayden, a couple of times to Hannah Stolke. Like, her all-around game is brilliant. And she's a good defender. She's genuinely a good defender. And look, I was not that high on Lucy Olsen earlier on in the year. I've watched a lot of Iowa play this year. I was not that high on Lucy Olsen, especially during those losses. But I gotta say this. With Olsen, that she has 100% like put herself into the conversation for a high second round pick. Because I always say this, like, I don't understand why Isaiah James, like what Isaiah James does that much better than Lucy Olsen. Like, Lucy Olsen, they're the same height. Lucy Olsen can run the one, Isaiah James can't. And I think all in all, as far as shot creation is concerned, yes, Isaiah James is a really great shot creator. So is Lucy Olsen. Lucy Olsen is the better, she can play make as well. So, like, I put her at that type of level. Like, there's talks about Isaiah James going in the top 5. But I'm like, for me, it's like Isaiah James versus Van Lith. Do you take Van Lith? I put, like, Olsen Van Lith as a debate. Olsen Isaiah James should be a debate. Like, a lot of these players, I don't know why Olsen's so been so underrated. She averaged 23 a game last year in the in college, and then she's doing so well for Iowa, who are a good team. Iowa, again, they have not lost a game by more than 10 points this year. They played the toughest schedule, one of the tougher schedules. They didn't play South Carolina, but they played USC, they played UCLA. So they had a tough schedule. They played Ohio State, they played Maryland. They drew all these teams close. They were close with every one of these teams. And they beat USC. They beat Juju Watkins. And she outplayed Juju Watkins in that game. She's outplayed Juju Watkins. I know it's not a direct matchup, but she completely outplayed Grace Van Sluten last night. She has gone toe-to-toe with some of the better players in the country. Some of the best teams in the country. I mean, the best player on the floor. She nearly single-handedly willed them to a win against Ohio State last time. And am I expecting Iowa to beat Ohio State today? No. Not off a back-to-back-to-back. I don't think they're going to win on a 3 games in 3 days. I don't think they're winning 5 in 5 days. I don't think they're beating... I think on a one-off game, they got a shot against Ohio State. But I think Iowa could make the Sweet 16, maybe the Elite 8 of the tournament. And everything that Iowa do goes through Lucy Olsen. Not quite to the extent that everything went through Caitlin Clark, but everything goes through Lucy Olsen. And her team's pretty damn good. Her team is pretty damn good. There is absolutely no reason, in my opinion, why she shouldn't be taken the second round, because I think there's a very good chance she makes a roster. Like, as an 11th, 12th player, I think there's a very, very good chance that she goes and makes a roster. Like, if she's there at 18, 19, if you're Iowa, or not Iowa, if you're Indiana, just even for jersey sales, if she's there in 19, 20, you take her. You take her as that spot. She is so much better than Jaylen Brown. Like, it's not even close how much better she is than Jaylen Brown. But yeah, like, I'm so impressed watching Lucy Olsen play. Like, there are a lot of players, like, you're looking at potential draft picks. I've watched quite a lot of college ball this year. And yes, I'll say this. I said this when they were on that losing streak, that I thought Lucy Olsen was either a late 3rd round pick or undrafted. Since she started playing well, simultaneously, Iowa have been clicking on all cylinders. So that's been a positive, is that her team's been killing it when she's been on the floor. And not only that, like, her team's been killing it. She's been balling. But Iowa have looked like one of the best 10 teams in the nation since the start of February. And in my opinion, Lucy Olsen has been one of the best 5 players in the nation. Since the start of February, yes, obviously, Hannah Hidalgo is better than Lucy Olsen. But since February the 1st, Lucy Olsen has been better than Hannah Hidalgo. Lucy Olsen has been not better than Juju, but at least comparable to Juju. Because, yeah, Juju had those 2 unbelievable games against UCLA. I mean, Lucy Olsen had an unbelievable game against Juju. But Paige is in the conversation, I guess. But, like, Paige really struggled in the loss against Tennessee. Like, I don't know. But in my opinion, she's been one of the best 5 players in the country since the 1st of February. And is continuing to show. Like, I think she should be in talks for the first round. Like, the way people are talking about Isaiah James as this, like, shot creating guard. And yes, there are things Isaiah James does better than Lucy Olsen. And obviously, teams are going to be able to scout. Obviously, as far as people are concerned, her game's going to translate better to the WNBA. But man, just everything about Lucy Olsen, having the balls to come in and want to take over from Caitlin Clark, and not only doing it, or not only wanting to do it, but actually succeeding in doing it. Like, you need to be mentally tough to do that. The ability to play, to up your game in front of a full house instead of feeling the pressure. That's something, again, that if you're at one of these teams that fill out WNBA arenas, that has to be taken into account. And yeah, I just think she should genuinely be I think she's going to make a roster. So whatever team, if she's there at 19, Indiana, just take her. Just take her if she's there at 19. Because if Anastasia Kosu was there, stash one of those picks. You can't bring both of them in. Stash one of the picks. Get Lucy Olsen. Get her on that rookie deal, because we all know she's better than Jaylen Brown.